Since I can remember, I've been popping my collar, popping my
Live from the Cowboy Taj Mahal, ladies and gentlemen, it is the T-Bone Worldwide Show with your host, Mr. Tucker Sygrist. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. It is another episode of the T-Bone Worldwide Show. We're going to be talking today about round number 3 breakdown. Looking forward to round number 4 of the Wrangler National Finals Rodeo. So we're going to be talking maybe all 10 bulls getting rode to the National Finals. We could be talking the all-around race. So it's going to be a very, very interesting episode, folks. And I'm not going to hold us up very much longer. We're going to get right in to this episode of the T-Bone Worldwide Show. All right. Here we go. So we got a lot to get to today. We're live on TikTok, folks. Make sure you join us. It's going to be every day before the round. I get off work about 4 o'clock, so I'll be on about 4:30-ish by the time I get home. And we're going to break down each and every round of the Wrangler National Finals Rodeo, and we're going to look toward the next round. And the podcast will be published as soon as we get off the live and everything like that. So, with everything being said, we've got the particulars out of the way. We're going to come right here. Let me get my draw pulled up. I got tonight's draw on my computer. We're going to look at round 3. We're going to take it event by event, go in the order of events, and we'll just dive right into it right now. Here we go. Let's do it. Bareback riding, round 3. Hello, Waylon Bourgeois. Look at that. Let's just start it right there. Hello, Waylon Bourgeois. 88 and 75 points to win the round last night in round number 3 of the bareback riding. We knew that this Louisiana Cowboy could win rounds at the NFR. Now he's just proving it. So, hey, more power to him. I didn't have him picked last night. I had Just Pope picked, so we placed 5th in the round. Just Pope, he was 85 and 3/4 on his bronc last night. But let's go down the list right here. Sam Peterson, 87 1/4. Rocker Steiner, 87. 4th place, Wasey Shala, 86 3/4. 6th place, Garrett Shadbolt, 85 1/2. They're going to cash checks. So, Sam Peterson, spoiler, right there in the bareback riding. Wasey Shala has got to place in these rounds. We'll talk about the all-around. I'm going to get to the all-around in its own little entity and show you or explain to you how Wasey Shala is. He might not be able to catch Stetson now. He just might not be able to. So we'll break that down a little bit later. But let's look. Tilden Hooper, 81 points. Another guy that when we talk about the average, we're going to talk about him putting himself in that conversation. Cade Sonia, 83 points. Another guy that last night put himself in the conversation for the average. So round 3 is in the books. Now is the go get it round. Now is the, hey, you've got to go put yourself out there. You're going to have to move it or lose it coming in to round number 4. So, it's just, who's going to show up in the biggest moment of rodeo? And right now, the biggest moment's round number 4, because you've got to take each round for what it is. 1 round, 1 bronc, 1 ride. You're looking for an 8-second score every time, or an 8-second ride every time you nod your head in them yellow bucking shoots. So, tonight, I just looked at the draw, and just something that just popped out immediately. Sam Peterson's got risky business tonight in round number 4. That is probably the best bronc in the pen, but she's got a little trickiness to her. If she messes up and bobbles and ducks her head and goes left or right there, can the rookie hold on to her? That's going to be the question right there. Can rookie hold on to risky business? I think that's one that you star. on your day sheet because of the simple fact that he is Sam Peterson. He did play second last night, 87 and a quarter. So he's building momentum, and that's a horse that could swing your whole NFR in an entire different direction. That's what's crazy is he gets by this horse tonight. You could see a swing in Sam Peterson's corner, and him putting himself in the conversation for an average title. I don't think he's got it to win the world, but it's not because of talent. It's just because Rocker's that far ahead of everybody when it comes down to that. So that's one that I'm starring right now on my day sheet. But hey, Jess Pope got South Point's happy hour. Good bronc. No slouch there. Tequila Queen matched up with Rocker Steiner. Another good matchup. So tonight the Bronx, I feel like, is just going to be one of those like round one, round two-ish that we saw in those 2 rounds. More, hey, everybody's going to ride, everybody's going to mark real high, and it's just going to be a scoring contest of who really just opens up and spurs the most. That's where it's going to fall tonight, going into round number 4. And like we talked about it, round number 3 or round number 2 yesterday, talking about where we see kind of how the average lines up. Well, looking at it today, let's talk about the average in the bareback riding. Well, the average last night going in, you had Wasey Shala, Cooper Cook, Waylon Boudreaux, Rocker Steiner, Jess Pope. That's your top 5 in the average. Going into last night. Look at how much it changes coming tonight. What'd I tell you? Waylon Boudreaux, Wasey Shala moves to second. Rocker Steiner comes to third. Jess Pope moves to fourth. And Sam Peterson now puts himself in the conversation at 5th. That's what I was talking about. Sam Peterson now coming into this average conversation, and I think it's wonderful. I think it's great. Does the rookie continue? That's why we put the star beside Risky Business and Sam Peterson, because it's one of those you don't know. He rides or he's 90 points, no doubt. Sam Peterson covers Risky Business 90 points. Mark it down. I said that. So let's look at the world champ race. Last night, Rocker Steiner, Sam Peterson, Jess Pope. It doesn't change tonight. So tonight you're going to see a world champion, or not the world champ race change. As far as 1 goes, I don't think. I think you'll see 2 and 3 change, but we shall see how it plays out. Back down to the bottom list of the average. Cade Saunier, that was my pick before round number 1 to win the average at the NFR. He's put himself in the conversation at 9 now, so he's going to need a round win soon, and the sooner the better in this situation. And Tilden Hooper, he puts himself in the conversation now at number 10. So those guys, as well as Bradley Miller, Cole Franks, and Garrett Shadbolt, they're on the bottom side of the average bracket, or the bottom side of the average list. They're going to need a round win soon, and I mean soon. So with everything being said, I feel like tonight's matchups is just really, really even. So tonight, as far as my pick for round number 4 of the Wrangler National Finals Rodeo, I'm going to go with South Point's Happy Hour matched up with Jess Pope. I rode with Jess Pope last night. We placed in the round, so I was really pleased with that. So tonight, I'm going to pick Jess Pope to win the round. Let's get this wrote down. I like to keep track of all this. Folks, I enjoy keeping track of this. I've starting to become a little bit under the weather, but I'm going to do my best as long as I am able to do it and think that I can get through it. I'm going to keep every day. We got 6 more rounds, so Yeah, I'm an everyday thing. I'm going to stay with it. So tonight, Jess Pope takes the win for me in the bareback riding. Don't forget to keep watching the T-Bone Worldwide show on your podcasting, because we will get back to regularly scheduled programming after the NFR is over with. We're going to get back to our friends that we go down the road with, and good stories and all the other good times we have on the T-Bone Worldwide show. So let's keep it moving. Here we go. Steer wrestling. I talked last night on the steer wrestling being the closest event in rodeo. It is, because look at this right here. Tonight, or let's just break it down from last night. I picked Will Loomis to win the round. Will Loomis was a no time. Yep, I said that. You heard me say that. I just marked my hat with my pen. Anyway, Will Loomis was a no time last night at the NFR. It's just not ideal. But as far as it goes, he's still in the hunt in the world championship race. Excuse me 1 second. So Will Loomis is still in the hunt, world championship race. Tonight, or last night, going into last night, Will Loomis was leading the pack. Going into tonight, he's still leading. That doesn't change. What changes? 2 and 3. Last night, going into round number 3, Tucker Allen was second in the world. Tyler Wagasback was third in the world. Now, you see Ty Erickson with a 3-5 last night to take the win. He moves himself to second in the world championship race. We're talking about neck and neck, people. I'm telling you, this is the tightest event that's going to come down to round number 10. I took Kyle Irwin to win the round last night. I felt like he was poised to strike. He made a run at it. The yellow horse worked great for him. He placed 5th in a round with a 4-3. I was pleased with that. So, let's break down the rest of everybody, how they kind of lined up. Stetson Jorgensen was 3-9. Bridger Anderson was 3-9 as well to tie for second. J.D. Struckness was 4-2. Like I said, Kyle Irwin at 5th with a 4-3. Tucker Allen with a 4-4. And Wag with a 4-4 as well to split 6th. Then you go Rowdy Parrott and Chance Howard split 8th with a 4-5. So, how does this transfer when we talk about the average? Well, now coming to the average, I had Tyler Wagasback picked to win the average this year to NFR before the first round. Well, he was winning the average yesterday. Now Ty Erickson has swapped places with him. Ty Erickson was second in the average. Now he's first in the average. Wag has moved to second. J.D. Struckness still stays at third, but Tucker Allen has now jumped to 4th. So you're talking about all these guys. Boom, 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 boom. Kyle Irwin moves up a spot from 10 to 9. My apologies, folks. I really do feel bad about that. Anyway, Kyle Irwin moves from 10 to 9. Then you got Dakota Eldridge. They stay the same. Rowdy Parrott moves up to 8. From 8 to 7. So, I mean, all these guys are striking, and they're just going at it as hard as they can. I tell you who I feel bad for the most out of everybody at the NFR this year is Gavin Swallow. Gavin Swallow has to be one of the guys that, he was 19-8 last night. He's got a barrier all 3 rounds of the Wrangler National Finals Rodeo. And that guy is just as good as anybody else on that list. I promise you, if you've watched him all year long, he is. So, that's the thing. I feel truly bad for Gavin Swallow in this instance, but it's okay. Tonight, going into the steer wrestling, it's hard to bet against the world champion. I don't think I'm going to. I think I'm going to give the nod to Will Loomis to win the round, because he has now got to swing for the fences. He has got to go for the gold. And now it is time for you to do it or go home. And by me saying that is not saying you literally go home, but it's saying now is the time for you to move. Get moving. Get down the lane. Get your knee down. Bulldog, and place and win this round. You've got to go win this round. There's no doubt about it. So, tonight is a do or die, I feel like, for Will Loomis, and that's why he's going to get my nod, because in do or die situations like this, he shows up and shines the brightest. I feel like. So tonight in the steer wrestling, I am going to give the nod. I'm going to give the nod to Will Loomis. He just, it's do or die for him, and I think tonight he shows up and shows out in this moment right here. So Will Loomis is going to get the nod from me in the round number 4 of the steer wrestling. Now we move to the team roping. Last night, well, hold on. Before we talk about last night, let's talk about the overall picture. We have now seen Junior and Driggers move up each night by cashing checks and moving into the top spots in the world. So that they're going to be competitive there, and it was not what everybody wanted. Nobody wanted Junior and Driggers to get in the number 1 spot at both the header and the healer, because now it's going to be hard to get them out of there. It's going to be hard for anybody to beat Junior and Driggers this year. They're roping super consistently. They've always roped really good, but there's a team that is finding their stride in the Thomas and Mack and is deadly. I believe that Begay and Todd is the team to dethrone Driggers and Junior. I don't know if they do it in the world champ side, but I know, or I don't know, but I truly believe that they will be the average champions when you come out of this deal. Now, I picked Dustin Egusquizia and Levi Lord to win the world championship in the team roping. That was a stretch, but anybody that knows me or knows anything about me, I'm from Marianna, Florida. Dustin Egusquizia is from Marianna, Florida. I'm always going to ride with that guy. I'm always going to bet with him. I know I may be throwing your team away or throwing a pick away or something like that, because I don't know. But I'm always going to pick that team. I'm always going to pick that guy. But let's go to last night. Dawson Graham and Dylan Graham, 3-8. Lightning and Pro Philly, 3-8. Schmidt and Torres, 3-8. We had a 3-way tie for first place last night at 3-8. Folks, we're barely breaking into the threes each round. So I think the team roping is poised to get quick and get fast, and tonight may be the round. I think the steers are a little bit better tonight than they have been. So I think tonight you'll see a lot of consistency when it comes to threes. Like last night, you had 3-way tie for first, fourth. Driggers and Junior was 3-9. I mean, so I think that you will see tonight it'll be about the same way, if not a tad quicker. But last night I picked Clint Summers and Jade Corkill to win the round. They split 7th with Clay Smith and Kobe Payne with a 4-4. So we shall see. That goes, but you go back, I skipped them, but you go back to 6th and look, 4-2, Begay and Todd. They're cashing a check. They're cashing a check, and that's what it's going to take right here. Luke Brown, Trey Yates, 9th at 8-6. Tanner Tomlinson, Travis Graves, 9-4. Jake Smith, Douglas Rich, 20.3. So that's kind of how the round shook down last night. Let's look at the average. Andrew Ward, Jake Long, 12.3 on 3. Now look at this, 14.2 on 2, Clint Summers, Jade Corkill. I picked Clint Summers and Jade Corkill to win the average at the NFR this year. They're sitting number 2. They're almost, they're 2 seconds, 2.1 seconds behind, or they're 2.1 seconds behind Andrew and Ward for the average. So they got some roping to do. But slide down to 5th, Begay and Todd are now putting themselves in the conversation. They're 23.1 on 3. So, hey, they're knocking down the door. Tanner Tomlinson, 19.3 on 3 at 4th. Driggers and Junior at 3rd in the average, 17.7 on 3. That is not what people want to see if it's what you want to see if you want to see Driggers and Junior win the world championship and an average championship this year. If you don't want to see that, then that's not what you want to see. The rest of the team roping field, that's not what they want to see. They don't want to see them guys catch steam, but that's what they're doing. They're getting hot. They're knocking down the door. We'll see how it progresses coming into round number 4. I think the team roping is still very much open because, I mean, It's just the team roping. It's just like the steer wrestling, the tie down roping. It's gonna come down to the last run. When you look, like I said, you look at the World Championship picture in the team roping. Driggers holds it. Andrew Ward is second. Tanner Thomas in third. Healer on the heel side, Junior, Drake Long, Dylan Graham. That's how it shakes down over there. Junior and Driggers are going to be solid from here on out. I think they're going to be roping to keep themselves in the average. That may hurt them in the later runs, but who knows? They may change. They could change the strategy tonight before this, and that could not even be their real strategy. I'm just speculating. This is all my speculations at what I think. Last night we didn't place in the round, we did not place in the team roping in the in last night's round. We placed in the steer wrestling and the bareback riding so far, so we're +2. We get a point for our team every time we place in the round. We get 10 points for our team every time we win a round. So we'll move to the saddle bronc riding. Last night I took Zeke Thurston. We did not cash a check, believe it or not. That's kind of wild for Big Zeke, but let's get down into the saddle bronc riding. So Statler Wright last night, Wright brother, 88 and a quarter. Statler's been waiting patiently to break out like this. He waited for his moment. He saw it. He struck, and he got it. Dawson Hay, 87 and 3/4. He come in second. Zachary Dallas, 87 and a half. Cade Bruno tied him with 87 and a half, and so did Ryder Wright. So a 3-way tie for third. It's not ideal when you're chasing the world championship because you've had to split that money now. But, hey, cashing checks in Las Vegas, Nevada at the Wrangler National Finals Rodeo is always, always a good thing. Look, Lefty Holman coming to world at 15th. Now, he won 6th last night. He was 86 and a quarter to place it around last night. Slide to the average. He has now moved to 6th in the average. He is putting himself in the conversation for an average title. I think it's great. I love it. I'm a Lefty Holman fan. I like that guy. I think he rides broncs very, very technically great. And we shall see, because look, if you look at, we'll slide over to the saddle bronc riding average from last night going in. You look at the average last night, he's at 6 again, 171 and a quarter. He maintained 6. He's 257 and a half on 3 now. But here's the thing. There's 2 guys at the bottom of the average has took themselves out. I think it's going to take 10 broncs. I think you fall off of 1 bronc, you are done in the average. That's just my opinion. Hey, I think you got to ride all 10 broncs at the Wrangler National Finals Rodeo to stand a chance at the average. It just the broncs are too good. They're just too good and too even. So that's why Cade Bruno, Sage Newman, they're at the bottom. They've took themselves out of the average now. So it's going to be kind of wild to look and see how it lines up. Stetson sits at the top of the average, though, 263 and 3/4 on 3. Ryder Wright behind him, 262 and 3/4 on 3. Damian Brennan, 260 and 3/4 on 3. Statler Wright, 259 and a quarter on 3. Zeke Thurston, 258 and 258 even on 3. So look at that. 263, 258. You're 5 points. 5 points. 5 points separates 5th. It's number 1 in the saddle bronc riding average. Think about that. 5 points. That could be changed tonight. Do I think it's going to change? Yes. Is it going to change drastically? No. Let's look at the draw here tonight. Tonight in the draw, you've got some good broncs. You've got some good matchups. We've always got to look at Stetson Wright. He's got Freedom Express. Now you've got to start looking at people like Lefty Holman. He's got Works Hired Gun. It's a good bronc. That's one of the matchups that I would definitely star and look at it in my mind, hey, I might have to give that guy the nod. We don't know yet. We're going to look. Sage Newman, Holy Grail, good Gronk. Statler Wright has got Cisco Kid. That's a matchup that you want to see with him riding that bronc last night and winning the round. That is him. That's a matchup that he can really let loose on and be a lot of points on. That's a good bronc. That's one of mine right there that I particularly like. Go to Zeke Thurston. Zeke Thurston's got Gucci Equine's Green Bay. I like that matchup. Do I think it's the bronc that can win the round? I don't know. I don't think it is the bronc right there. But Damian Brennan has got an Indian burn. That right there is probably one of the better matchups in the round, no doubt about it. That's going to be a good matchup right there to watch and keep it starred. Ryder Wright matched up, Workhammer Stone. So we shall see what happens there as far as that matchup goes. I feel like tonight though, like I said, tonight you want to get a good start. You want to finish strong tonight because round number 4 is a big round. I feel like round number 4 and round number 6 are big rounds because they're on the front side. Round number 4 is the last round on the front half. Round number 6 is the first round on the back half. So you want to finish strong in your front half, and you want to start your back half strong. We're seeing the energy and everything change right now. Like you just said, we're talking about names last night that won rounds that's not Stetson Wright. We're talking about people like Lefty Holman. That is where you see the energy and the momentum swing. And that's what can happen over 10 rounds, and that's so great about the Wrangler National Finals Rodeo. So, with that being said, tonight, my nod. Now, I picked Zeke Thurston to win the world and win the average. Right now, he's 5th in the average. He's not in the top 3 in the world championship race. So, I mean, I feel like it's do or die for him. Am I going to go with him? Man, I just don't believe I'm going to give him the nod. My nod tonight is going to be Damian Brennan. I like Indian Burn. I like Damian Brennan. I think that is a good matchup for the two of them. And we shall see who comes out on top. So, in the saddle bronc riding, Indian Burn, Damian Brennan, they going to get my nod, and we shall see how that plays out. In the world champion race, in the saddle bronc riding, it is Ryder Wright, Damian Brennan, and then Dawson Hay. That's your top 3 for the world championship race. Damian Brennan rides this bronc tonight and wins the round. Hey, you could be looking at a world championship change in the world championship race of the saddle bronc. So we shall see what happens there. We'll move on right now to the tie down. Last night, I had Riley Webb to win the tie down roping, and that is just what happened. I told you guys that Riley Webb is going to push Shad Mayfield to the breaking point. He's going to see how far Shad wants to take this. Last night, 7 flat. We're seeing these high 6s and these low 7s win, and that's what it's going to take to win night in and night out. Now, before this ever started, I had Riley Webb to win the world and John Dausch to win the average at the NFR. Well, my average, hey, John's chipping away at it, but I think we've got to come on. We've got to get some sense of urgency about him if I'm John Dausch and I'm trying to go win an average title. If I'm just there to cash checks, hey, we just got to get a tick faster. But if I'm trying to win an average title, we got to go win some rounds. But, like I said, round 4, we'll see tonight. But last night, Riley Webb, 7 flat, Kincaid Henry, 7-3, Ty Harris, 7-4, Shad Mayfield, 7-5. Slips to 4th. Does that mean that his day is over with or his NFR is over with? Absolutely not. I understand Shad Mayfield, he slips to 4th. He's still going to cash a $15,000 check. That is always nice. In the World Championship side of things, that puts him within striking distance tonight of Riley Webb. So that's going to be interesting to watch Riley Webb. Does he stay consistent? All this time, Riley Webb has been Mr. Consistency. Now, like I said, Riley's going to push Shad, but Shad's going to push Riley. So that's the dynamic right there. They're pushing each other to the breaking point, and we shall see who really comes out on top and who really is Mr. Consistency. Shad has never been one to be Mr. Consistency, so for him to bust out of here, cash a check in every round, hey, guess what? This is Shad Mayfield doing Shad Mayfield type things. It's a cool and interesting watch. As well as Ty Harris coming back in, Haven Midget. He's at 5 last night with a 7-7. Him and Riley Pruitt split 5th. Marty Yates, he's 10th at 8-9. Shade Hanchy, 9 at 8-7. John Dowse, like I said, he slips in there at 10-4. At number 12th in the round. But looking at the average, let's look at the average. Shad Mayfield 22-1 on 3, winning the average right now. But Riley Webb 23.9. What that means is Riley Webb needs another one. He needs another round win right here with a round that Shad slips down. So you can't control what Shad does if you're Riley Webb. But what you can control is what you do as Riley Webb. So you're going to have to go win another round like tonight. Tonight would be a perfect opportunity to strike back and let Shad Mayfield know, hey, I am Riley Webb and I'm still the best in the world. There's no doubt about it. You might have jumped out here and you've been cashing checks, and that's great and all, but I'm Riley Webb and I'm a bad mofo. So it's kind of hard to pick a winner tonight. But if I'm gonna ride with Riley Webb one more round, I think the momentum is starting to swing his way, coming from last night's check and round number 1's check, and I think he cashed round number 2 as well. So I can't remember right now. Like I said, I've been a little bit under the weather, so I am running a tad bit behind on all my up-to-date things, but like I said, Riley Webb, I think truly he's got the nod from me in the tie-down roping, and we shall see what they get done tonight. Let's see, Riley Webb last night, or second night, he was 9 flat, so he didn't cash a check the second night. So, yep, I thought he did, but something told me that he didn't. So, he didn't cash a check. He will cash a check in the first round and the third round. So, tonight, he's got to go get him a round win. That's why I'm going to give it to Riley Webb, and we shall see what he gets done tonight. Let's move on to the barrel racing. I'm not going to speak much on the barrel racing because it's so hard to get the updated and the right World Championship race. Who's where? The WPRA hasn't updated the standings since October 9th. So it's kind of hard. I said I was going to sit down and try to configure it by myself, but like I said, I've been under the weather. I really ain't tried to do a whole lot. Besides, I cooked a big pot of gumbo today. That was all I'd got done today. Anyway, let's talk about the barrel racing. Barrel racing. Last night, Carly O'Tara lit it up, won the barrel racing. Now, I picked Carly to win it all before it ever started. I think I picked her. I know I picked her to win the average. I don't know who I picked to win the world. I picked Lisa Lockhart to win the world. I remember now. As soon as I say that, Lisa. I've been riding with Lisa for a long time. Lisa falls all the way to 12th. Her little horse, she just hits a barrel last night, and I mean, it's gonna happen. Shoot, sister hit a barrel last night. So that's going to shake up the average. It's going to slide Haley Kinzel down to 6th in the average, which that's not an ideal spot. But for sister and her, it's not the end of the world because we know that they can break records. We know sisters did not run good last night. I said that sister wasn't going to run good last night. I feel like she may run a little better tonight, but I'm still not convinced that they win the round tonight. Cassie Mowry, consistency. Cassie Mowry placed 3rd last night in the round. She's number 1 in the average going into tonight. So my pick last night, Trisha Aldridge, she ended up 7th, won right out of the money. They only pay 6 holes. So it's just 1 6/2 dozen another on that deal. I like Trisha Aldridge in this situation. Tonight though, I'm so torn on who I want tonight, but I think tonight I'm going to ride with Carly O'Tara. I think the momentum swings her way. I think she either wins or places in the round tonight. I think that she's got on another horse. She's actually the most deep, like as far as mounted horse, mounted out there in Vegas right now as we speak, because she's got 3 horses tied to the trailer. That's what's going to set her apart, like in rounds like tonight. I feel like round 4, we start to see where the young horses break down, where the young horses fall apart, and then you'll see her go get a different horse. You'll see her go give one a night off. So it should be interesting to watch her and see what she gets done tonight. So that's why I'm going to give my nod in the barrel racing to Carly O'Tara. Now, let's talk about the bull riding. When it comes to the bull riding, let's get one thing out of the way, and let's get the elephant in the room addressed. Can he ride all 10? Absolutely. Does he ride all 10? No, sir, he does not. But with that being said, if they don't get him on the ground tonight or round 5, Stetson Wright rides all 10 of them. I said it. If he don't fall off tonight or in round 5, he rides all 10 of them. He's going to be too hot. He's going to have all the momentum. He's just going to have it all put together. It will be his time. So, with that being said, I have got the elephant in the room addressed. We're going to be watching for all 10 of them to get rode extremely closely. I'm going to be watching this actually play out extremely, extremely closely, because it's not every day that the man walks in. He hasn't really rodeoed hard in 2 years, and he's going to ride all 10? I'm not convinced, but it is Stetson Wright. He can do anything. There is no doubt about it. So tonight, it's just where does the draw fall? So I picked Kai Hamilton to win the world in the bull riding this year. I picked Hudson Bolton to win the average. We are not sure that the Hudson Bolton can win the average anymore. Me and Keith before round 2 said that it was going to take 7. I'm not for sure that it's going to take 9. And right now, there's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's only 6 guys left. If it takes 9 to win the average at the NFR this year, there's only 6 guys left that can do it. Wasey Shalla, TJ Gray, Kai Hamilton, J.R. Stratford, Luke Mackey, and Jesse Petrie. They've rode 2. They're going to have to ride tonight to go back to being in the average conversation. Right now, it is all Stetson Wright. If they don't buck Stetson off tonight, who's to say they don't? Look at his draw tonight. He's got Ford's Gangster Walk, a good bull. Can it buck him off? Absolutely. He can be bucked off of anything. But let's look at what everybody else has got. Hudson Bolton, sneaky situation. Great, good matchup. Jesse Petrie, Fiesta. TJ Gary, Carrot, Live Ags. Carrot. And then Tristan Hutchinson's got Live Ags, Instaface. Kai Hamilton's got Bench Warrant. Wasey Shalla, Hang 'em High. It's good. It's another good pen of bulls. It's just another good pen of bulls here tonight. So the bull riding. Let's look at last night. Tristan Hutchin 90.5. That's what I was talking about when I was talking about earlier that we was going to be talking about people other than Stetson Wright winning money last night. Stetson comes in second, 88.5. We're not going to disregard him, but it's kind of like one of those things I don't really want to talk about him a bunch because we could talk about him for an hour about what he's done in 3 rounds. So let's move on. Hello, J.R. Stratford. We've been waiting on you to show up for the last 3 rounds. He showed up in round number 3. 87 3/4. He was a lot more points on this bull earlier in the year. Last night, he just rode him as good as he can. And just, I tell you what, I know that's got to feel good because J.R. Stratford is a bull. He's a bull hand. And for him to come out in the NFR like he has, I know he needed that one last night. Hayes Wright, 86 and 3/4. Quinn Anderson, 85 and 3/4. Jordan Spears, 77. So Jordan Spears should have took his re-ride last night, no doubt about it, but he was smart enough to understand that, hey, just like J.C. Petrie did in the first round, if I hold on and by some small chance everybody else kind of bucks off and I cash a check, I am in the average. I'm still in the average conversation. So, look what happened. Luke Mikey, Bryce Jensen, Mason Moody, Roland Johnson, Hudson Bolton, Jesse Petrie, T.J. Gray, Kai Hamilton, and Wesley Shala all bucked off. Lined up just perfect for Jordan Spears. So, in the average, Stetson Wright is number 1, 267 and 75 on 3. Wesley Shala, 177 on 2. T.J. Gray, 176 on 2. I had T.J. Gray to win the round last night. Did he win the round? No, he didn't. Was it because of lack of bull power? Absolutely not. He just kind of got run back off his rope, and he just kind of come out. He was 7.6. 7.6, needed to be 8. We all know that horseshoes only count in hand grenades, or we know almost only counts in horseshoes and hand grenades. Let me get that correct. Well, average. Let's talk about it. Kai, until Stetson falls off, Kai has put himself out of the average champion conversation. He's fallen out of the top 7. Well, he's not falling out of the championship race. He's sitting 3. I picked Kai Hamilton to win the world before this is all over with, and tonight he is going to get my nod in the bull riding because he has now got nothing to lose. He's going to have to blow to him tonight and really show off why he is Kai Hamilton, why he is a world champion, and why he is at the Wrangler National Finals Rodeo. Because he's sitting 3rd in the world, and he's got a good chance to move up to 2nd tonight if he gets one covered and he lets loose and does his job. So Kai Hamilton's going to get my nod for the bull riding tonight. And I like it. I like his matchup. And we shall see, like I said, if Stetson falls off tonight and Kai Hamilton rides, so does Wasey. They put themselves back in the conversation for average. Now, does Wasey Shala absolutely wants Stetson Wright to fall off tonight? Because moving to the all-around, look at the all-around. Here's the hard part that nobody wants to hear. Stetson Wright, I believe, has got the all-around wrapped up. Wesley Shala gave it his best shot. It's not time to give up, but it's time to be real. It's time to understand that Stetson Wright will probably win the all-around world championship this year. Will he win the Triple Crown? I don't know. I think his brother may play spoiler to him in the saddle bronc riding. Do I think he will win the bull riding? He just may. There's no doubt if he rides all 10, he will win the world championship in the bull riding. So, in the all-around race, the reason why I say that, Stetson has $576,000 won. Now, there's a bunch more numbers with that, but let's just take it for what it is. 576. Wesley Shala has 489. That's almost $100,000 difference. Now, we're only talking 5 rounds. Well, look what I just said. We're only talking 5 rounds. 3, 6, 9, 12. It'll take you 4 rounds to catch him if he don't win a dime. There's no way that for the next 4 rounds, Stetson Wright does not win a dime in either the saddle bronc riding or the bull riding. So, I think, mark it down, Stetson Wright has won the all-around world championship. Wesley Shala has gave it his best shot. No way that young man should ever hold his head low. Because let me tell you something, he done the deal. He did it just as good as anybody else could have done. And it's hard to beat Superman. It's very hard to beat Superman. I commend Wesley Shala. I think Stetson Wright takes the all-around. No doubt about it. And we shall see how round 4 plays out. And I will be back for round 5, round 4 recap. Looking forward to round 5 tomorrow. about 4:30. Make sure you join us on TikTok, T-Bone_worldwide, or you can wait and listen to the podcast. I try to get it out before the round starts, and we shall see you guys in the next round. And if I don't see you again, good evening, good afternoon, good night, and God bless.
Pulled into Nazareth, I was feeding about 8:30. I just need some place, Lord.